Friends, thank you for watching my channel. I just want to remind you, if you need wallpaper, go to www.wallpaperboulevard.com. Tell them Spencer sent you. In fact, if you use my hashtag, Spencer Colgan is wallpaper, they'll be sure to give you a 10% off at your checkout. No matter how much you order, they have a wide selection of wallpaper. Check it out. Tell them I said hello. Just a note about cork wall covering. Any wall covering, but especially cork. It's lightweight. It tends to go back where it wants to. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 corners here. Nothing to play around. These are all potential breaches of the wall covering, in the sense that if you don't do it right, this will lift, this will lift, this will lift, and this won't stay. So you have to choose a corner to get it in place first. Once you get this corner in place right here, you can't start pushing this corner in place because it's going to lift from here. So you need to do it with 2 hands, holding this one in place and then working on that one. Okay? I suggest you get 2 of these and you run your smoothers down on each corner very gently, and it pushes the wall covering into place, pulling from here. Once you get this established, you can do this. I'm going around a radial bullnose. They're tricky. And the way to get the air out is to simply hug the radial bullnose nice and firm. Don't rip it, but nice and firm. Get that spatula smoother around that radius and push that wall covering onto that corner. Okay? You don't want to come back an hour or 2 later and see air pockets, okay? As you can see, it's really nicely done. Now, let me tell you what I have underneath it. I'm not playing games here. I'm using liquid nails in the toothpaste size tube that gets sold at your hardware store or your local box store. Okay, don't play games with these corners. This is a potential for a lot of liability with it coming up and having a terrible installation. But if you do it right, if you do what I'm saying, we glued the back of the cork, then we put extreme tack in here, but over here, I put liquid nails, okay? It's not going to change the color of your wall covering. It's going to hold on to that just like nails. Okay, that's how you do that. I'll show you. You see the arch, we're going to separate right where you see that crease in the middle of your screen. We're going to come around that arch and join the outer with the inner. Just before you trim this part, there's no going back when you think about it after you cut it. And so you want to make sure that this corner is perfectly in place. Okay? And then, let's face it, if I push this in, I might pull from here, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to push from this side here into the corner. This way you won't be taking from there. So just push into that corner right before you cut it. You see how it's tightening up just a bit more? You can see it moving. You see I'm pushing here. And who cares if we scuff this? It's getting cut off, right? There you go. Just do it like that. Okay. You got the idea. I can feel the corners extremely nice and firm, tight, in place, and it's going to look very nice after it dries, because this is nice and in place. I can't hear any air. Beautiful. A lot of work goes into learning how to hang wallpaper. You know, You may know how to hang a certain type, but there's always surprises when you start hanging different things. But if you know how to hang wallpaper, you can learn how to hang any wallpaper, even gold wallpaper. Okay, like I said, I'm pushing against here. I don't want to affect my corner once it's established. First of all, it's a waste of time. Second of all, you'll undo what you did. Nice long extended shaft right in that corner. Not too much pressure because we know our corner is already in place. No need to kill it. And now we have a nice clean cut. You see? Let them see that corner, please. Very nice. Okay, and our bullnose is nice and ready to be left alone because it's in place. And the way you do that is to simply go up and down with your hand and listen for air. Listen for air. Feel it. There's a lot you can do with your hands and ears when you're hanging paper. Okay? Push that down. Make the wall covering hug that corner by using your soft hand. Okay? I feel some air here. Let's get that out. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so now we've come around to this other side of the arch. This was the room we did first. The customer said, I like it so much, I want the hallway done. Now we have to join the hallway and the bedroom. These are not typical corners. They're bullnose. They're radiuses. We can do it. Just focus on here. Show them if they can see these ripples. See these ripples? Just go slowly up and down. And I talk a lot about torque. A straight sheet of wallpaper does not ripple, right? Unless its straightness is being challenged by unevenness underneath it. These ripples that you're seeing are the results of minor imperfections with the straightness of this entire wraparound. But that's okay. That's called torque, and I just did a video on that recently. Now, before we can wrap this around, we want to feel for where the stress is being created and eliminate it. Okay? So that we can wrap it around effectively. So, this is what I treated my radiuses with. Liquid nails. Don't play games with this stuff. Now, check to see if your wall covering will be affected color-wise. Cork is very sensitive to ripping, and so we don't want it tearing as we go around. Okay. Always want to protect. Now, we're not going to cut it for the final right here. We're just relieving the excess so that we can plan for the final trim. Okay. Now, what's most important right now is that with clean hands, always check your smoother. Make sure that it's scratch free. Now, simple as that. My bedroom border comes up right about here, right at the edge of this. So I'm going to be trimming this on after the bend. You see that torque? You see those ripples? That's from the unevenness. But that's normal. It's just completely normal. Don't think you failed because you got these ripples. I'm just mashing that glue into the fibers of the backing by doing this. I relieved my stress here. We're going to put a separate piece here and seam it there. Okay, I am sufficiently satisfied that my wall covering is attached as best as possible. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is put some tension on it. I'm going to put very sticky tape on this. Again, I don't care if this gets ruined. It's not part of the plan. Okay. After this bend becomes a half an hour, after the bend becomes it gets used to being bent to fibers, I'll cut it. Okay, that's it. So the arch with cork is atypical. The wall covering doesn't stretch. And so we will piece this together after we get 95% of it in place. Now, let me show you what I mean. I cannot bend this. It will not bend like, say, a Philip Jeffries damask. That might do it, with trimming it right up to here. That's not going to work here. So, don't panic, I'm going to cut it. And I want to cut it in the center. Now, I still can't bend it. I mean, ideally, this thing would just bend, right? It doesn't. And so, what we really have to understand here is, where am I cutting it? And I'm cutting it just past the corner. You don't want a cut on the corner, right? Neither do I. And the reason we're cutting it is so that we can do this. Now you see these spaces, right? What do we do with those? Anybody? Please, somebody tell me. And so we want to have a controlled amount. We don't, like a slinky. If a slinky didn't have all those spirals, it wouldn't bend, right? Same idea. So I'm going to the center here, cutting it. Center of that one, cutting it. Oh, that would be nice, but I don't think so. Folks, you know what the rest of it's going to be. You already know. But I appreciate you sticking around to figure it out. Did anybody just see that? I got glue on my face from this. Okay. Now, I'm sufficiently satisfied that I have that as tight as it can be. And so now, I want to give it a nice cut. But I want my seam to look like it's a factory installed seam, okay? You know what I'm talking about. If ever a seam is visible, let it at least look like it's factory, right? And so how do we do that? We're just trying to keep it universal, meaning as we don't want to have it cut 1 inch from the edge here and then 1/4 of an inch. No. We want to try to make it all the same. I suppose I could just do it like this. See, I'm a lefty, my hand is in the way. Now if I did well, I'm just remove these and then remove what's underneath it. But we know that we have an installation that took place several weeks ago. And so it's not going to come off as easily, right? Well, listen, we'll get it done. We'll get the job done. So our tape served to protect the wall covering from most of the glue. Not all of it, but most of it, which is good. Comes right off, and fortunately doesn't stain. I tested it out before I did it. So now, what I'm wiping is several weeks old. Now I have to remove it, which is not easy. It's not. Be nice if everything were easy, right? Does anybody have an easy life? If you do, please tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Okay. Does anybody like my new videos? I now have a video editor. He's a really nice guy. He's very funny. And we get along really well. For those of you who have seen my new videos, his name is Spencer, and he's doing a great job at editing. He thinks just like I do. Like whatever he puts in the videos, I really enjoy it. It's funny, etc. You know. It's nice when you get along with the people that work for you. I think he's going to get a raise though. He's been working very hard lately. And I owe him. I really do. He's a really good guy. Anyway, that is how you wallpaper a cork arch. So you say, what about the spaces, Spencer? And I tell you, talk to my video guy. Same person. I'm going to fill these in. As I showed you before, cork is extremely mendable. What could I compare it to? I don't know. But stick around and I am going to mend this perfectly. And it's going to look absolutely perfect. There's just no way to do it without the multiplicity of breaks. You cannot install wall covering, cork wall covering on a radius without relieving the stress of the radius by cutting it. But you would agree that these are very simple to fill in. Not with paint, but with wall covering. And so we're going to take a lunch break and do that right after this. Can you show them the other side of the arch, please? Thank you. Very nice. I really like that. You like it? Looks good. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna, on the next part of this video, we're going to mend that and make it look seamless and perfect. Zoom in. And so on and so forth. That's it.